All software, all news, right here, right now. Today's video is dedicated to the memory of great actor Robert Duvall, because at least when we are watching movies he's in, we do love the smell of napalm in the morning. But only in movies, alright? Mr. Duvall, thanks for your art. Greetings Romy, you're watching WromWrom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and a regular news roundup, our weekly sim racing news. While we're waiting to be allowed to talk about the big hardware news coming up soon, we have a nice mix of updates, peeks behind the curtain and full releases coming up in our news. Check them out. Project Motor Racing's update 1601 is out with a significant rework of the GT3 Tyre model. The goal is more realistic slip and grip angles, cleaner feedback at the limit and a more natural transition when you push past it. GT3 traction control and ABS logic have been reworked alongside this to better balance lateral and longitudinal slip. Worth noting that existing GT3 setups will likely need revisiting as a result of these changes. Force feedback also sees attention this update. GT3 cars now have a balanced force feedback baseline across the class, and wet track force feedback has been improved. Logitech True Force has been switched off by default on PC, which suggests it was causing enough issues that disabling it was the safer option, and it's marketing BS anyway. Beyond GT3, there's physics work across several other classes. The LMDH gets a full traction control rework with settings 2 through 10 now offering a more meaningful range. And setting 1 is currently bypassed entirely, which is slightly odd. The GTO class has loosened TC settings to give drivers more influence at the limit, while Group 5 and Group C receive TC slip angle adjustments and improved downshift stability. More broadly, throttle response, downshift protection logic and automatic gearbox behavior have all been refined across the board. On the multiplayer side, two notable bugs are fixed. One that caused opponent cars to ghost during online races, and another one that could land you in the wrong lobby entirely. The Sao Paulo circuit now supports up to 32 NPC cars on PC, and NPC racing lines have been improved across multiple circuits. The UI on technical side gets some tidying too. UDP was sending incorrect data, which is now fixed. The player stats menu is more readable, and setup selection via mouse no longer breaks when you have a large number of setups saved. Track penalty zones have been adjusted for more consistent detection, and the racing line assist has been improved across multiple tracks. Finally, there are various small visual fixes. Vehicle art corrections, driver animation polish, and a fix for Motec display flickering that also ensures those displays now receive correct tire temperature data. Tree rendering has been optimized for a minor visual and performance improvement as well. Endurance Motorsport Series has put out its third developer letter talking about mechanic management, a new manufacturer and a new track. The mechanical management system is one of the game's more interesting strategic layers. Car components were naturally over a race, and collisions add suspension or bodywork damage on top of that. As the engineer, you'll have a dedicated screen showing the condition of each component, and you'll need to decide whether to pit immediately or nurse the car to the next scheduled stop at a performance cost. Rain also factors in, raising the risk of collisions and accelerating the damage risk. It's a fairly deep system for a management title, and it sounds like it could meaningfully change race strategy depending on conditions. As we indicated last week, see the link up there, Lamborghini is joining Porsche and BMW as a manufacturer represented in both the hypercar and GT3 categories. The brief history in the announcement is worth a small reality check. It describes Lamborghini Motorsport record as impressive and built in less than 20 years, which is technically true, but also a fairly low bar to set yourself. The Huracan GT3 did win at Monza on its debut in 2015 and went on to claim multiple championships and prestigious races, including the 24 Hours of Spa. The SC63 hypercar is the newer project, making its WEC debut at the 2024 Qatar 1812 km race before moving to IMSA. Both SC63 entries finished at Le Mans that same year, placing 10th and 13th. Monza rounds out the announcement as the latest confirmed circuit, a track with a genuine and deep history with endurance racing. Looks like Studio 397 has learned from the past and is doing very deep testing towards the 24 hours of virtual Le Mans, which has made them reduce the amount of drivers in the grid for the time being so as to learn more about some issues they encountered in the network packages in races with over 130 concurrent drivers. For the time being, they've reduced the grid to 62 cars on Le Mans Ultimate. Personally, I see these as good news because they are finding and addressing the issues. iRacing Arcade will be released on Steam on March 3rd with a console release planned for summer of this year. It's priced at €25 USD, and if you're not sure about it, you can always download and play the demo on Steam. Assetto Corsa Rally's Update 0.3 is targeting a late February release built around the Monte Carlo Rally. Centerpiece are two laser-scanned stages totaling 31 kilometers. Col de Turini is the longer of the two at 18 kilometers, a technical mountain stage with relentless hairpins, variable grip, and very little room for error. Sisteron is a faster, more flowing 13-kilometer test where high average speeds and deceptive rhythm are the main challenges. The developers call it the first fully laser-scanned Monte Carlo in any sim, which is a bold claim, though it's not one that's easy to verify. Does anyone know? Write it in the comments. Two new cars come with the update. The 1970 Lancia Fulvia Coupe HF is a front-wheel drive classic with around 115 to 130 HP and a V4 engine. The 2022 Skoda Fabia RS Rally 2 is the modern counterpart, a full FIA Rally 2 spec all-wheel drive car pushing 289 HP. Both fit the Monte Carlo setting well across different eras. The big technical edition is dynamic weather with snow, and this is where the update gets interesting. The developers claim this is the first rally sim to feature truly dynamic snow conditions, meaning snow doesn't just appear at fixed locations on a stage. It can fall anywhere the temperature and altitude conditions allow. A stage could start dry, climb into snowfall, and drop back into sunshine on the other side of a mountain. Temperature depends on time of day, altitude, and geographic location. It's an ambitious system, and if it works as described, it's a meaningful step beyond what other rally titles do. That said, snow is currently limited to these two Monte Carlo stages only. To go with it, two new winter tire compounds are being introduced, snow and winter, and you can mix and match them per axle just as in real rallying. Tarmac grip also varies with temperature, so cold dry roads aren't as forgiving as they look. Your car will leave tire tracks in the snow, though competitors' tracks won't appear, which is a known limitation at this stage. The developers also note improvements to the tire model and force feedback, plus new special events, though specifics on those are light in the announcement. On timing, the team acknowledges the update slipped past their original January target. They attribute it to wanting more polish on the stages, and they suggest a 2-month update cadence going forward. It's a reasonable explanation, and the scope of what's included makes the delay understandable. Assetto Corsa EVO's Update 051 dropped this week. The headline edition is a free camera in the paint shop complete with FOV control via a scroll modifier, handy if you actually want to admire your livery from a decent angle. F5 snaps you back to the default view. That's a nice quality of life addition, though it's worth noting this is something that probably should have been there from the start. On the bug fix front, there is a solid list. The BMW M4 GT3 had an invalid setup that needs attention. If you created a setup for that car in 0.5, you'll need to delete it manually, which is a mild inconvenience. The M4 GT3 also now correctly selects wet tires for wet setups, which is the kind of thing you'd hope worked automatically. The BMW M2 and M8 are getting aero corrections too. Turns out they were generating lift rather than downforce, which is, to put it gently, not what you want from a car's aerodynamics. Multiplayer sees some attention as well. Stutters when another player joined the session have been fixed, the lobby page no longer freezes up briefly after selecting a server, and tire compound info now shows correctly on leaderboards for other players' cars. The DRS closed message was also incorrectly showing for everyone on a server rather than just the relevant driver, which is now fixed. Server list refresh and ping management have been improved, though the patch notes don't get specific. There are also visual fixes for the new 0.5 cars and tracks, some UI cleanup including damper and differential adjustment labels being made clearer, and a fix for the sim failing to launch with a missing or corrupt redistributable package. Nvidia and Intel users should see fewer graphical glitches, but AMD specific issues are still being investigated, so no fix there yet. Oh, and the Nürburgring car park poles now have collisions. Someone was definitely driving through them. And if you want to keep ahead on sim racing news, subscribe to the channel.